Good evening. Today we will discuss regarding rest and motion of physics. Before going to the detailed discussion, I would request all the participants to subscribe the channel and like and share the videos so that I get motivation to upload more interesting videos. Now let us come to the actual discussion. In today's discussion we will cover the following things: the concept of rest, concept of motion, condition of rest or motion depends on the situation of observer, how we will explain these things. Also we will explain concept of absolute rest is absurd, that means nothing in this universe is under absolute rest, that we will discuss. We will discuss regarding types of motion, that is translational motion, rotational motion, complex motion, oscillatory motion and we will discuss regarding the concept of distance, displacement, speed. In speed we will discuss regarding uniform and non-uniform speed, velocity. In velocity we will also discuss uniform and non-uniform velocity and uniform and non-uniform acceleration. All these things we will discuss in today's discussion. So let us start the actual discussion. Rest. The condition of rest of a particle is that at which the particle does not move, it maintains its fixed position, that means with respect to time it does not change its position. That is known as condition of rest. And condition of motion is if a particle change its position with respect to time, then it is said to be under motion. That means when a particle moves with respect to time, that is said to be in motion. Now the condition of rest or condition of motion depends on the situation of the observer. These things we will try to explain. It means if a particle, whether that is under rest or whether that is under motion, that things depend on the situation of the observer who is observing the things. Now let us understand this point. Suppose in a train two passengers are traveling and this train is moving at velocity v meter per second towards east. Definitely a third person who is sitting at the platform, definitely he will see these two persons are moving at velocity v meter per second towards east. Again, one another person, fourth person, who is moving at v1 meter per second from east to west, he will see that these two persons is moving towards west at velocity of v1 plus v2 meter per second, because v plus v1 meter per second, because his own velocity will be added reversely with this velocity, that means v minus v1, that means he will see these two people to move with velocity v plus v1. So for the third person, these two persons is moving at velocity v meter per second. For the fourth person who is moving from opposite side at velocity v1, he will see that their velocity is v plus v1, and first person and second person will see each and other as at condition of rest, because this first person will see this person is having no motion and this second person also will see the first person as having no motion. That means their rest with respect to each other. So these things is clear. I think the condition of rest or condition of motion depends on the situation of the observer who is observing the things and from which circumstances, which position he is observing the total thing. Now the concept of absolute rest is absurd. That means nothing in this universe is under actual absolute rest. We know that universe itself is moving and that is also expanding in nature, and accelerated expansion is there. Also the earth moving surrounding the sun and with its own axis also, that is moving. So all the things which are situated in the earth, they are also under continuous motion. So concept of absolute rest is absurd. In actual practice, in actual thing, nothing is under actual or rest. Everything is in motion. But the things which we said to be at rest, that is rest under the, with respect to the surroundings of the thing. Suppose a house, a building, a mountain is rest with respect to its surrounding. And the motion, suppose a moving particle, a flying bird, a flowing water, we term this as having with motion, that is under motion with respect to the surrounding. So I think this concept is now clear. Now let us come to the types of motion. Now we will discuss regarding translational motion. Translational motion. Translational motion is the motion in which a particle moves towards a particular direction. Suppose a particle is falling under influence of gravity downward. So its motion is under translational motion. In case of translational motion, a particle, each and every particle moves same distance. Suppose the particles 1 comes to 1 dot, particles 2 comes to 2 dot and particles 3 comes to 3 dot. Then the distance travelled by 1 dot is 1 dot equal to 2 dot and equals to 3 dot. That means each and every particle of the moving particle moves the same amount of distance towards a particular direction, and example is free falling of an object under the influence of gravity. This is the translational motion. Now we will discuss regarding rotational motion. Rotational motion is the motion in which the object moves with respect to a particular axis, with respect to a point within the body. Example is, suppose a electric fan, blade of electric fans moving like this. That is the example of rotational motion because it's rotate around its axis, one axis. That is the case of rotational motion. And one another example is if a stone is rotated by tying it with a finger like this, its motion is also rotational motion. In case of rotational motion, the velocity and direction of acceleration and force will be like this. This is translational motion, that is the motion, movement of particle. This is the direction of velocity and this is the direction of acceleration or force. So this is the rotational motion. Now we will discuss regarding complex motion. One another interesting motion is there, which is known as complex motion. If a particle moves in such a way that simultaneously it is having translational motion and rotational motion both, then its motion is termed as complex motion. Suppose a wheel of a car, let us consider the wheel of a car. This wheel is moving towards this side and this is having a radius of r. So for particular one turn, suppose this is 1 point, this is 2 point, this is 3 point and this is 4 point. So as it will move towards this side, it will also rotate, and this 1 to 2 particle, this is suppose 1, it has started from 1 and after certain time this has come to 2, again this has come to 3 and again this has come to 4 and again this has come to 1. That means 1 to 2, if this segment is S1, then 1 to 2 is S1, 2 to 3 is S2, again this is S2, this is S3, again this is S3 and this is S4. So this is S4. So for a particular amount, for a complete rotation, this will travel a distance of 2 pi r in translational direction, and for a complete revolution it will move for 360 degree angle or 2 pi radian. So the particle is having both translational motion and rotational motion simultaneously. This type of motion is known as complex motion. Example is wheel of a car, wheel of a bicycle, wheel of a bike, whatever, all these things move under complex motion. Now we will discuss regarding oscillatory motion. Oscillatory motion is that type of motion in which a particle travels from a particular point, it travels to and fro motion maintaining a mean position. So this is known as oscillatory motion. This type of motion is known as oscillatory motion, such as simple harmonic motion, motion of a pendulum, that is known as oscillatory motion. Now we will discuss regarding distance. Distance is the maximum possible path travelled by a point from one point to another point. It means suppose a point has started its journey from 1 and like this it has travelled to the point 2. So the total distance travelled is along the curved path. If we cover this travel path with a string and measure this distance with a measurement tape, then this distance will be curvilinear distance, curved path distance between the 1 and 2. So this is the distance. That means it is the possible actual path or maximum path between the 2 points. Suppose a particle started its journey from a point, it has gone to the point B and travelled 3 meter. Again from B this has travelled 4 meter towards north. So the distance travelled is equal to 3 plus 4 meter equal to 7 meter. So this is the distance. Now let us come to the displacement. Displacement is the shortest path between the initial point and final point of the travel path of the body of the particle. Suppose in this case the displacement will be from the point has started its journey from A and it has gone to B and covered a distance of 3 meter, and from B it has again gone to C. This is towards east and this is towards north, so this is 90 degree. So the shortest possible path is this one. So the displacement between AC, displacement will be 3 square plus 4 square under root equal to 5 meter. So it is evident that displacement is always less than distance, because that measures along the shortest possible path. Let us take another example to understand the distance with little clarity. Suppose a particle has started its journey from here. This is 2 meter, again this is 2 meter, again this is 2 meter, again it has come to this point 2 meter. So distance travelled is, if these are 90 degree, that means this is east, this is north, this is west, again this is south. So distance travelled is 8 meter and displacement is 0. Displacement is 0. So this is the distance and displacement. Now we will try to understand the concept of speed. What is speed? Speed means rate of change in displacement of a particle. Rate of change in displacement of a particle. It means with respect to time how much distance is getting covered by the particle, that is known as speed. Suppose it has started like this and from A to B it has travelled by 5 seconds, then the curvilinear path travelled by the body with 5 seconds, then speed will be s by 5 meter per second. This, if this curvilinear path is s. So this is the speed. Speed is always measured along the actual path, and that is divided by the time during which it travels the path. Now there are two types of speed: uniform speed and non-uniform speed. Uniform speed means if the particle moves in such a way that with respect to time its distance covered is always constant, then that is known as uniform speed. Suppose the point has moved from A to B in 5 seconds. If we divide this total distance as this distance has been covered by 1 second, this is by 2, this is start point 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and suppose this is 4. So this is S1, this is also S1, this is also S1, this is also S1. If the point travels like this, that means with respect to time slot 0 to 1 second, distance covered S1, 1 to 2 second, distance covered again S1, 2 to 3 second, distance covered again S1, 3 to 4 second, distance covered again S1. That means in each and every frequent time interval it has covered same distance. This type of speed is known as uniform speed. And if its speed does not happen like this, that means in each time second, suppose this is S1 and this S2, this is again S3 and this is again S4 and this is S1, this is S2 and this is S3 and this is S4, S1 not equal to S2, S3 not equal to S4, like this, then its speed is known as non-uniform speed. Definitely, uniform speed is if a particle travels along a circular path, then its speed may be uniform speed, like this. Suppose a particle moving like this, it has started from A, this is 30 degree, that means S1, again this is 60 degree, again this is S1, again this is 30 degree, again this is S1, again this is 30 degree, again this is S1, like this. Then it is undergoing with uniform speed. Hope the things is clear. Now we will discuss regarding velocity. Velocity, what is velocity? Velocity means rate of change in displacement. Velocity means rate of change in displacement. Definitely, velocity is a vector quantity because it is measured along the shortest possible path between the 2 points. So, velocity is definitely vector quantity, whereas speed is scalar quantity. Now, we will try to understand uniform velocity. Uniform velocity. What is uniform velocity? Uniform velocity means if a point moves in such a way that with respect to each segment of time interval, it moves equal amount of displacement. It moves through equal amount of displacement. Suppose a particle has undergone its motion like this. This is the time axis along x axis, independent variable, and this is the velocity. Suppose this is moving as 5 meter per second. So, if we divide this time axis as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this, in 1 second its velocity is 5 meter per second, in 2 seconds its velocity is again 5 meter per second, is 3 seconds again 5 meter per second, again 5 meter per second and again 5 meter per second. That is, this is maintaining constant velocity throughout the total path. So, this is the uniform velocity. That means rate of change in velocity is 0. Rate of change in velocity, rate of change in velocity equals to 0. Rate of change in velocity equals to 0 in case of uniform velocity, because the gradient of this line is 0. That means this particle is having no acceleration with respect to time. It does not have any acceleration. That means net force acting on the body equal to 0. If a particle moves under uniform velocity, net force on the particle acting is 0. And one interesting thing is there, if it undergoes under uniform velocity, then distance travelled is equal to directly distance travelled equal to area of these small curves, small rectangles. So, distance travelled in 0 to 1 second is 5 meter, because 5 into 1, it means 5 meter. 1 to 2 second, again 5 into 1, that is 5 meter. 2 to 3 second, again 5 into 1, that is 5 meter. So in each and every individual time slot, time frame, it is occurring, it is covering same amount of distance towards a particular, same amount of displacement towards a particular distance, particular path. So this is the uniform velocity, and in case of uniform velocity, net force acting on the body is equal to 0, and in case of uniform velocity, we can directly multiply the time with velocity to determine the distance travelled by the body, yeah, particle. Now let us come to the non-uniform velocity, that is non-uniform velocity. If a particle moves in such a way that with respect to time its velocity changes, then it is termed to undergo with non-uniform velocity. Like this, suppose it has start from 0 in 1 second, it has acquired the velocity of 5 meter per second, then up to 1 second to 4 second this has maintained 5 meter per second velocity, again from 4 to 5 it has gone to 0, yeah, velocity has reduced to 0 from 4 to 5 second. So definitely at this portion, that is having non-uniform velocity, this curve having non-uniform velocity, and this is also having non-uniform velocity, and this is having uniform velocity. It means this gradient of this line represent the gradient of this line equal to acceleration. This one, this theta, tan theta. So this is the non-uniform velocity, and in case of uniform velocity, we can directly multiply. Suppose from 1 second to 4 second, it has covered the distance is 15 meter. Distance equal to 15 meter. This means 5 into 3 meter equal to, directly we can multiply and we get 15 meter. But in this case here, that as this is not having uniform velocity, non-uniform velocity, its distance travelled is half 1 into 5, that means 2.5 meter. Here also it is covering 2.5 meter in the same way, and also it can be determined in A also, half into 5 minus 0 1 into 1 square, that is equal to again 2.5 meter. So in case of non-uniform velocity, we cannot directly multiply the velocity with the time to calculate the distance travelled, because here this is not linearly correlated. Their gradient factor is there, which is coming in the sense of acceleration. And definitely when this acceleration is happening, when this velocity is changing from higher value to lower value to higher value, definitely net force is there, net force acting. At this portion no net force, at this portion no net force, again net force is there here. At this portion some force is getting applied, at this portion some force is getting applied, at this portion no net force is acting on the body as per Newton's second law of motion. Hope the things is clear. Now we will try to understand the acceleration. Acceleration means rate of change in velocity. That means if a particle moves in such a way that its velocity changes with respect to time, then it's said to be under acceleration. There are two types of acceleration, again non-uniform acceleration and uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration is like this. Suppose this is velocity and this is time. Again this is like this. That means suppose this is 1 second, this is 2 second, this is 3 second, this is 4 second, like this, this is 5 second. Then this theta will represent, tan theta will represent the acceleration, and definitely change in velocity with respect to time is uniform. That is, change in velocity with respect to time is uniform, like this. Change in velocity with respect to time is uniform. That is, if this is delta v and if this is delta t, then dv by dt equal to constant. So this is uniform acceleration, and definitely in case of uniform acceleration, net force has to be there, and one example of uniform acceleration is falling of a particle from a certain height under influence of gravity, and non-uniform acceleration is also there where the rate of change in velocity is not same. This is like non-uniform acceleration. This is suppose t time axis and this is velocity axis, like this. This is like non-uniform acceleration where rate of change is different at different point. This is the theta, this is the theta, and tan theta will be differing from point to point. This is the case of non-uniform acceleration. Non-uniform acceleration. In this case also net force has to be there on the body. Hope the things will be helpful to the students. Please subscribe my channel and like and share the videos. Thank you.